Mistakes were made at JC, there was Olympico in Clarendon, and Wonder Kid Kyle Dixon scores again. But we start one place and one place only on match week 22, and that's with the defending champions asserting their dominance. This is match week 22 review show. Yeah, people, welcome back to Jump PL, and it was a fun weekend once more. A match week 22, not as great as last week, I feel, but some good matches really. And of course, we're going to start with what was definitely the most anticipated game of the week, and that's with number 1 place team More Pleasant taking on number 2 place team Cavalier. So yeah, basically it was Tupper Whitmore welcoming Rudolph Speed. So this was surely going to have some fireworks. And right off the bat, looking at the lineup, it seemed that Tupper was playing some mind games. His lineup and tactics seemed to be tweaked a bit. His usual 4-3-3 was altered a bit. That saw both Devontae Campbell, Daniel Green, Shaquille Bradford, and Kimani Bailey on the field at the same time, with Daniel Green being pushed a bit more centrally to give some support to Bradford. That left Duxley to do a majority of the groundwork in midfield and left the flair players to do their thing. But, be honest, it worked. It worked like a charm. From minute 1, a lot of the proceedings were controlled by More Pleasant as they really ping around the ball nicely, have some great combination play, especially midfield. And with Cavalier, as I stated before, having played a tough match in Arnett at Thursday, it seems that the legs was going to have difficulty keeping up. But it proves so even further when in the 15th minute Kimani Bailey got down on the right wing and chipped the ball into the box, who find a surging Daniel Green who controlled well and tucked away for his another goal of the season. He's been brilliant, honestly, and I think I owe the man a lot of apologies. I once stated that this team relied too much on Devontae Campbell, but be honest, in the last couple of months, Daniel Green have and surely take this team on his back and run with it. From there, Cavalier did wake up a bit. They tried to get back into the game, but again, a lot of the proceedings were covered by More Pleasant, who was again on the front foot, and if they had a bit more finishing touch, could be 2 or 3 up by halftime. The one thing we should note what happened in the first half as well is that Dwayne Atkinson got a yellow card, which is going to later bite him in the second half. Come to the second half now, and Rudolph Speed men sped up the tempo and we tried to get back into the game. It was a bit more even in the second half, but More Pleasant was still passing around the ball neatly and was holding majority of the possession. They again got better of the chances, I felt, but they couldn't have finished off until, you know who, in the 82nd minute, where Sue McCullough stepped up after some nifty footwork from Daniel Green again in the middle of the box, laid off to McCullough and kept it fantastic, once again finished off to make an honor-selling 2-0 victory. Of course, that second goal came after the second yellow card to Dwayne Atkinson in the 72nd minute that eventually ruled Cavalier out of the contest, but they were still hanging on until More Pleasant second by McCullough. So More Pleasant was probably deserving of the win, and it was a good victory for them, and where Daniel Green basically ran the show. While Cavalier, I felt it was a one game too many for them in such quick order, but they should probably feel disappointed that they did the whole lot thanks to their usual stellar defensive performances. Anyway, let's look at the stats and see what that says. So yes, this backed up how a bit dominant More Pleasant were in this game. More Pleasant had 16 total shots compared to 7 by Cavalier. More Pleasant had 3 shots on target compared to Cavalier's 1. So again, that speaks to More Pleasant issue with conversion. They're still having a lot of shots, but they're still not converting enough. 3 corners to More Pleasant compared to 2 for Cavaliers, and 3 yellow cards, 2 to Atkinson for Cavalier, and 1 yellow card to More Pleasant. Of course, 1 red card again to Dwayne Atkinson, who eventually killed him out of the game. So yeah, all the plaudits for this victory for More Pleasant, I think it deserving to 3 men. I felt that Daniel Green was by far the man of the match. He ran the show, honestly. Anything in attacking third was run through him, and was brilliant. But believe it or not, I also could give credit to Duxley. Duxley had to do a lot of groundwork in that midfield, and majority was by himself to keep the play and keep the ball going. As for the third man who deserved the credit, Tupper Whitmore, he tweaked his tactics and he got Daniel Green closer to goal. He proved to work on a gem. As for Cavalier, honestly, nothing to be ashamed of. I felt that, again, there are a lot of troubles, a lot of matches, a lot of weary legs, and this game was probably one too many. Also, the good news for them, as we will talk about later, their closest rivals for that second spot have also dropped points. So they can, get their rest, regroup, and come again next week. But for now, it is tougher and more pleasant today. And once more, it finished more pleasant. Academy 2, Cavalier 0. We're going to go now next to the other game I felt was going to be the big match of the weekend, but was let down by uncontrollable circumstances. That was Tivoli playing Dumbo Holding, and this was at JC Ashenine Stadium. And you will see what I mean from, well, the first goal of the game. I predicted this game on Friday this going to be a high scoring 3-2, but even I didn't see such a goal happening in the first half. There was no pressure by Tivoli as the ball was under the feet of Dumbo keeper Damian Hyatt, who simply played the ball out to his fullback Zilks, who basically returned favor and gave the ball back to him gently. But Hyatt, looking to clear the ball one time, saw the ball bubble off the pitch and over his left foot and roll into the goal. A major blunder, of course, on our own goal that gave Tivoli the 1-0 lead. But honestly, I see this as more 30% Hyatt's fault and 70% the pitch. The pitch was definitely the big equalizer in this game, as the pitch was in horrible condition. And I'm never normally a man to complain too much on Jamaican football pitches, because we know the resources we're working with. But even this one was below the usual standard. And unfortunately, we could never really ignore the pitch conditions, because I felt it hampered both sides. Dumbo, who of course love to pass the ball around, especially on the ground, saw their usual football hampered a bit by the bouncy pitch, while Tivoli decided, I thought, for majority of the game to simply ignore trying to pass the ball around and try to go over the top looking for their wing players, especially in the second half. While sticking to the first half still, Tivoli was still trying the best to play the ball around in the final third and did get 1 and 2 pop shots. Just not enough to pass Damon Hyatt. Hyatt, who had of course a blunder, came up big and redeeming himself when there was a set piece that saw Jones rise high and Hyatt make a spectacular save to knock it over the bar. Redemption made Hyatt. From there, Dumbo growing the game a bit, and from there, they even managed to get Tivoli to make a mistake of their own. Nicola Fuller was last week player of the round, but this time he turned from 0 to 0 as he made a major blunder, knocking over the defender in the box to cause the penalty. Without Nicholas Nelson playing, upstep Ricardo Thomas, the captain, who neatly tucked away an unsavable penalty in the far corner. 1-1 at this point. In the second half, it was more Dumbo trying to control the game, and as I stated previously, Tivoli was more trying to hit the ball long and try to go direct. It wasn't really working. Justin Dunn, who did not start, came on the second half, and even he had limited touches, as again the pitch really killed what could have been a spectacular game. Both he was just finding it hard to really get into a rhythm because the ball itself was dancing too much. But that's all the breaks are. Both teams had to play on the pitch, and in the end, it came to eventual 1-1 draw both the teams. So let's look at how this went in terms of the stats. Yeah, so Tivoli had 10 total shots compared to Dumbo 7. But only one of those 10 shots were on target for Tivoli, which was Jones' header, compared to Dumbo 2. 6 corners for Tivoli compared to 5 from Dumbo Holding. 3 yellow cards to Tivoli to 1 to Dumbo Holding. No red cards in this one and 2 offsides to Tivoli. Yes, I'm not going to be the only one that's going to talk about it. In fact, both coaches on both sides also made their complaints. This pitch probably should not be used again for the rest of the season. I do like JC Ashland Stadium, but when the pitches are like that, I mean, it was even covered with a lot of stones, it's just not playable really. So on that basis, the point was probably fair for both teams, but I feel it more for the neutrals, who I think were robbed of a great match. Anyway, again, they finished Tivoli 1, Dumbo 1. We're going to move on to the second game that happened on the same field we were just talking about, and that was Harbour playing to Molynes United. So Harbour is not having fun at their own 50th celebratory party lately, as they lost last week and they're coming into this one, too close to relegation. One of those teams they're close to is Molynes United, who, with Jason Wright back in the fray, we're hoping this is another step away from that zone. So how did this one went? Well, I criticized Harbour of lacking creativity lately, but to be honest, it's one of those games that I see that they play fairly well. They started the game a bit on the back foot though, as Molynes were more aggressive right off the bat, and Molynes themselves got some decent chances, especially this one right here, where Portmore in the Harbour goal had to come good. Harbour eventually settled, of course, and as I stated before, Demar Rose, I feel, is their more creative midfielder, and he was on the park where they were picking around the passes a bit better and were creating more chances. It wasn't Fagan up front this time as it was as Lolo Bernard favoured David Reed and Rowan Brown, who were getting the shots off but was finding himself up against a resolute Peter Harris in the Molynes goal. He himself came up with some many brilliant saves to keep Molynes into it. But again, I have to give credit to Harbourview who keep going at Molynes but just couldn't break through. What changed the game really was that Molynes made 3 big changes by the 68th minute. And one of those changes was Hardy. Hardy was now causing many troubles down the right side. It seemed that the changes also free up Jeremy Nelson in midfield. And because of that, it worked to perfection. Jeremy Nelson came in on the right side of midfield before he laid off a good chip pass to Daniel Hardy in the Harbour box, who got ahead of Garth Stewart to rifle a powerful shot that gets past Portmore on the near post. But people will say you should never get beaten at your near post as a goalkeeper, but that was a rifle, powerful shot. And it was just deserved for Molynes, I felt was much better in the second half since the changes were made. Even Jason Wright was becoming unplayable as he himself was becoming more dangerous in the second half, but Harbour defense did enough to crowd him out. From there, Harbour regrouped honestly and they came back on the attack and they went at Molynes once more. And if it wasn't for the spectacular save in the 90th minute by Harrison once more, they'd have their 1-1 draw. But it was not to be, and Molynes ran out here with a good victory. So, how was the stats for this one? So yeah, just to show how even they were. Both teams had 10 shots in total. 5 shots on target for Harbourview, 6 for Molynes United. 6 corners went to Harbourview, 2 to Molynes United. And 5 yellow cards Harbourview are there as usual, the aggressors. And 1 yellow card to Molynes United. I've been very critical of Molynes United's defensive prowess this season, but they made me eat my words for this one as they did well to claim a clean sheet. Harrison, who many felt was at fault for the goal last week, was much better in goal this time and it helped a lot. While Harbourview, I would still give them credit. I thought they lacked creativity in majority of this season as well, but in this game, they proved that they still have some talent in the team, but they will need some standout attackers come summer transfer market if they want to go anywhere next season. But again, it ends in a very important win for Molynes. It finishes Harbourview 0, Molynes United 1. Now we go to the Clarendon derby where I was singing the praise of Veer, thinking this is going to be an easy win for them as they've been playing very well as of late. This could not be scoring. While Molynes, while finding some spirit last time out against Cavalier, was not in their best form in the last 6 matches. But I made that prediction and those bold statements before I found out the news that Vassal Reynolds and Peart were no longer at the Molynes bench. So changing management, and you know the old cliche in football, that's the management bounce back. And so it has proven, as within the first 12 minutes of the game, Molynes found himself 1-0 up. 2 consecutive corners eventually were let their Veer own goal to give Molynes a 1-0 lead. From there, Veer was trying to get into the game, but Molynes did well, I felt, playing some different type of football I've not seen in a while, and eventually set pieces end up being the name of the game. Guys, when last year we have ever seen an Olympico in the National Premier League? We finally got one here and it came from a teenager nonetheless. As Cleo Clark put the ball on a platter and it somehow beat the Veer keeper on his near post and got all the way in. Big time goal that, 2-0. From there, Veer still tried their best to play the usual football to get back in the game, but honestly, Molynes grew in confidence and basically took over the game. In the second half, Veer was left himself a bit too stretched in defense, and it allowed Cleo Clark to get behind once more to basically get it past the keeper and finish Veer off. 3-0. From there, the game quickly petered off as Veer's motivation quickly died. A big win for Molynes, honestly, and of course, nothing sweeter than beating the Clarendon rivals. So, what did the stats say though? For this one, Molynes had 12 total shots compared to 7 by Veer. 4 of those shots were on target by Molynes compared to 2 by Veer. 5 corners for Molynes, but get this, there was 9 corners for Veer. Molynes was also a bit more aggressive in their tackles. They had 5 yellow cards compared to 1 by Veer. No red cards though, and 2 offsides for Molynes compared to 1 to Veer. So yeah, there's nothing sweeter than a new coach bounce back result, and we have seen all over the world, and it happened here again. So again, it finishes Molynes 3, Veer United 0. We move on to Montego Bay United, who was returning to Catherine Hall, the Cathedral. Last time they were here, the fans saw an impressive comeback 2-all draw against Waterhouse, but we're needing 3 points if they want to get in the top 6. With Molynes dropping points early in the day, this was a prime chance against relegation threatened Treasure Beach. Treasure Beach, of course, it was lacking confidence after getting dismantled by Cavalier at home last week, coming to this game Harbour in hopes they can still come out of relegation. And credit to them, they set up to not be defeated today. Despite Montego Bay having majority of the possessions, majority of the shots on target, majority of the chances, better play, Treasure Beach was absolutely resolute in defense and was a rock. Montego Bay United didn't create that much clear-cut chances. I was finding Treasure Beach completely difficult to break down. So much so that the first half ended in a surprising 0-0 as Montego Bay got numerous chances to take the lead. The second half started with much the same, and I'm quite sure the Montego Bay fans were probably wondering where the breakthrough will come. Well, sometimes it normally happens. Despite pretty football, all you need is a set piece. And when the set piece was given to Montego Bay and the ball was floated on goal and saw the goalkeepers make a save, they did not clear the lines efficiently enough and saw the ball pop back into the box. That saw probably one of the goals of the season really by Jordan Weatherly, who did some form of scissored bicycle kick, ballerina back flick, I don't know what you want to call it, that saw the ball somehow, some way, loop over the Treasure Beach keeper into the back of the net. It was an interesting sight and an interesting goal, but it was what Montego Bay United deserved. The game got even worse for Treasure Beach, and any hopes of their comeback was eradicated when Brian got his second yellow card and was obviously outed from the game in the 68th minute. From there, Montego Bay as well pressure on to get the second, but again, credit to Treasure Beach, they were not easy to break down and they didn't manage to get the second goal. But one was all that was needed. It was enough to keep that top 6 spot alive as Montego Bay United finished off with a 1-0 win. So what was the stats like? It was show dominance, of course. Montego Bay United had 9 total shots compared to Treasure Beach 2. 6 of those were on target by Montego Bay United compared to 0 from Treasure Beach. 1 corner apiece, 4 yellow cards by Treasure Beach, 3 for Montego Bay United, and of course 1 red card to Treasure Beach. 4 offsides by Moby as they tried to get behind that backline a lot. Yeah, so basically, credit to Treasure Beach once more. You are fighting for your life, so you got to make it difficult for your opponents. But just like we will see later on with Limehall, sometimes quality is not there. But Moby will be feeling happy with this one after 2 tough road points. They'll be absolutely upset if they came back to catch it all and wasted 3 points here. But for now, once again, it finished Montego Bay United 1, Treasure Beach 0. And speaking of zeros, we are now going to Fernita Park where Portmore are the master, just like Cavalier, the master of keeping teams to 0 on the scoreboard. Waterhouse were the visitors this time as they come here to have hopes of coming back in the top 6. They know it won't be easy here at Fernita Park as Portmore has only dropped 5 points all season at home. But Portmore also have another big issue. Their defense is great, of course, but without Trevor Walsh once again in the lineup, goals have been hard to come by for the St. Catherine team. And it proved to be the case here as honestly, there was not much report on in this game as both teams did nothing really, nothing much at all, and it led to a boring 0-0. It is one of those things. Portmore, of course, is making sure, which is what they do all year round, not to give a goal and lose, while Waterhouse, as usual, are inconsistent in their build-up play and couldn't get nothing past that resolute defense. But with Cavalier dropping points lately, you'd hope Portmore being at home would show a bit more initiative to try and reclaim that top 2 spot, but it is what it is. Anyway, let me quickly run through the stats because honestly, there's not much there. Yeah, so Portmore had 3 total shots overall in the game compared to 1 by Waterhouse. Portmore had 1 shot on target compared to 0 by Waterhouse. Both teams do give up a lot of corners though. 5 corners for Portmore compared to 6 by Waterhouse. 3 yellow cards for Portmore. Of course, they've been usual aggressors. 1 yellow card for Waterhouse. No red card, no offside. So yeah, man, if you went to this game, feel your pain. Nothing much happened at all. But Portmore avoid defeat once more at home and keep close eye on the top 3 as Tivoli is in 3rd now. While Waterhouse probably started to worry as the games are running out and Molynes might get away from them if they do continue. But anyway, once more it finished Portmore 0, Waterhouse 0. Now to the final game of the round, and it was the lone Monday nighter. It was Arnett hosting Limehall at the Antony Sporting Complex. No, I, like many others of local football experts, were thinking this was a foregone conclusion that this game will be an easy win for Arnett. The fans probably thought the same, as the ground was not its usual capacity full that we normally see when Arnett is playing at home. Nonetheless, some things to be aware of. Arnett were starting this game without Faber Reid as well as Warner Brown, while Lymall, of course, was coming here to show some pride, and credit to them, as the game we see in the first half, they did. Lymall was being absolutely resolute in their defense, like we said about Cheddar Beach. Much better defensive display from them, especially from Damien Swell, who I felt was playing like he had a chip on his shoulder, and he has made numerous crunching tackles on the young forwards from Arnett. Marlon Buckley from Lymall was also getting in on it, as he made one horrible tackle, I felt, at young reggae boy Karim Dixon, which I felt, I don't know how he escaped a red card. He got a yellow card instead, but if you look at the replay, he went over the ball, it should have easily been a red. In terms of Arnett, yes, they were missing their top two strikers, but Karim Dixon was there, and of course they had majority of the play, majority of the possession. They were getting some chances in. Dixon himself had a good shot from the right hand side that saw a good save from William, but what was intriguing to me that Arnett was making a lot of their attacks down the right hand side of Lymall defense. Many of us have realized over the last couple of months that their weakness is actually on the left hand side. Granville, who got the goal last week, was doing a lot of the work on that left hand side of attack, and he was getting a lot of help from Philando Wing, and you felt each time they go forward, the goal was coming. But Lymall was resolute, as I stated, and they managed to see out the first half to a 0-0. Now, the second half was a whole different type of kettle of fish. Lymall basically did counter much better in this one, so much so that Marlon Pennycook got a breakaway that saw he chop onto his left foot, then make a break again on his left foot, and then got his shot off, but somehow kicked the ball onto his right standing foot and saw the ball lay off to his partner in the box, who also fluffed his lines. It was a glorious chance for Lymall, and a chance they were going to regret, as straight up the other side of the field, Arnett got awarded a free kick, and from the set piece, the ball was floated in, and Kimani Harbour, which is back from Africa, made a play for the ball that saw the ball end up in the back of the net. We didn't see much celebration for him, and later we saw on the replay as to why, as the goal actually came from an own goal from Marlon Buckley that ended it past his own keeper. Less than a minute later, before we could even catch our breath, Dixon got another goal of the season. Williams in Lymall goal was only able to fire a shot to his left that trickled all the way to the opposite stick. Dixon, who was hand to basically funnel the ball over the net. 2-0, and just like that, the game was basically over. Lymall didn't show not much resistance after that, and Arnett was simply passing around the ball at ease as if he was training. He eventually got a third by Jaheim Thomas in the 85th minute, but at this point, all fight from Lymall was evaporated. 3-0 the game finishes. Just look at the stats for this one. Yeah, I'm not even sure how to explain this one. Arnett had 28 people. I'm going to say it again. Arnett had 28 total shots compared to 4 by Lymall. 11 of those shots were on target compared to 0 by Lymall. 9 corners for Arnett, 3 by Lymall. 3 yellow cards for Lymall compared to 1 for Arnett. No red cards, 3 offsides for Arnett. So yeah, man, it's as easy as it come, but even them were sweating after the first half, saw no goals really. Once again, they finished Arnett guns 3 and 0. So yeah, guys, that was match week 22. Not the greatest week of football once more, but we still got some good football, especially the one at Draxall between Mount Pleasant and Cavalier. Let's look at the table and see where we're left with after this weekend. So Mount Pleasant, defending champions Mount Pleasant, have now opened up a 4-point gap at the top of the table after 22 matches played and having 49 points. Cavalier, thanks to Tivoli and Portmore dropping points, remaining second with 45 points after their 22 matches. Tivoli is in third, but very close with 42 points. Portmore is hanging around as well with 42 points, and Arnett has now caught up to the 2 teams above them, also on 42 points. Dunboyne round out the top 6 with 34 points, 3-point gap over 7th place Waterhouse, who has 31 points. Montego Bay is going to fight to the very end for that top 6. They're in 8th with also 31 points. Molynes United surely is free now and can worry less about relegation. They're in 9th now with 23 points. Vere is pegged back by their Clarendon rivals in 10th with 22 points, and being caught by them by us Molynes are 11th with 22 points. Harbour is in 12th, guys. There's no way I could predict that at the start of the season. They're in 12th with 19 points. There are 7 ahead at Treasure Beach, who time is running out on, as they're in 13 with 12 points. And Lime Hall, this, we gotta get ready to write their goodbye letters from now. They're in 14th with 7 points. Yeah, so that's how the team set up with 4 games remaining. A lot to play for still. A lot to keep an eye on in terms of the top 2 race, the top 6 race. And I guess maybe if Treasure Beach get a win next match week, the relegation race. But for now, another good weekend of football. I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping you all enjoyed it as well. And I also hope you enjoy watching our review show here. And we'll be back here, of course, on Friday for the preview show. But if you're new here, also please like, subscribe, and share as we do this every Friday and Tuesday as we look forward to the end of the season. But for everybody else, as usual, thank you for watching, and big up yourself. And if you want everything of the Jamaican Premier League, you're already at the right spot. Jamaica fan. Big up YouTube.